Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening. I see a few folks on. Thank you so much for keeping our rendezvous. The Football Trio 1.7, episode 1.7 is here. Let's share the link. Let's share the link as we start our conversation. Yeah. Episode 1.7 is here. Let's share the link. Let's share the link as we start our conversation. All right. It looks like somebody else is watching it on the stream on their end. Let's share the link. Let's share the link as we start. Can somebody mute on one side? I think there's more than one link up. One of the speakers, maybe. Just check your browsers. Make sure you don't have two editors up.
I think it's gone. I think it's gone now.
Okay, good. All right. Hey everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Let's share the link, guys. We have a few folks on. We have a few folks on. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Um, Match day two is now complete, guys. Starting tomorrow, the AFCON goes into each team's final day of play, right, of group play, and we already know that the first few teams that are qualified for the round of 16, and as usual, many of the other hopefuls are um, now working out whatever mathematical equations and formulas they can trying to figure out what needs to happen for their teams to join the two teams that are already qualified so that it can be a huge party of 16 starting January 27th, right? While some teams such as Cape Verde and Senegal are already in round of 16 spot, um, others, such as the Black Stars of Ghana, the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon, the Egyptian Pharaohs, and maybe even Mali, are still trying to figure out and hoping they can clinch on, cling on. They're clinging on to hope, still trying to figure out if they can make it happen in their last game day of play. So Third, third, we already established that four third place teams will qualify into the round of 16, right? And last AFCON, I think the Comoros surprised everybody when they made it in. And I just wanted to point out that today we'll be talking about what has happened in match day game two, as well as previewing Tuesday's game, Cameroon's hopefully not final game of the tournament, but Cameroon's final group game of the AFCON, as well as talking through a few other things that have been raised throughout the tournament. It's been a great tournament. And with us today, as usual, we have the football analyst, the man who knows it all, pays attention to the nitty gritty of all the action on the field. None other than True Lion. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. It's a beautiful
It's a
day.
pleasure to have you on. And our football encyclopedia in human form, Sir Ajab, all the way from Canada. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
All right. It's always a pleasure to also have you on. The trio is here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Let's go. Let's jump right into it. So, who has impressed so far, guys? Who has impressed so far? Who still has a lot of work to do? Where are we? What are your thoughts? Basically preview or review of how the games have gone. Match day two, were you surprised by some results? I mean, I know that South Africa really did it today against Namibia. And that's the result I really want to highlight because it was really a shocker for me. I didn't think that they were going to do that. But your thoughts, gentlemen, your thoughts. How has everything gone? And excuse me for that. And how is everything going?
Well, I think in Group D,
Yes.
Angola has surprised me because I had them like one of the teams that will actually go out.
Hmm.
Mauritania has not surprised me; they are dead last. But Angola is on top of a group with Burkina Faso and Algeria. So that's impressive. Algeria now knows that they have to go to their last game and actually win, So that's something impressive. Mali, I thought Mali was going to be there. South Africa, good comeback. And now Tunisia. For me, Tunisia is not that, but I thought Tunisia might be the third team. But we
Hmm.
see Namibia actually beat Tunisia. So that's a surprise right there. For Group F, Morocco, DR Congo, Zambia, Tanzania. So it's no surprise over there. So and then Senegal, of course, is on top of their group. Guinea,
Mhm.
Cameroon. I think Ayab had Guinea and Cameroon third. Gambia, well, there's still a game to go. Cape Verde has surprised me. Cape
Yes,
Verde has surprised me. And Equatorial Guinea, of course, they are first in their group. So, I mean, it's a very competitive African Cup of Nations. I'll put it that way.
that's right. The fact that we have quite a few teams stuck on 4 points in this tournament and quite a few others stuck on 1 or 3 points tells you the level of competition is raised. Ajab, what are your thoughts about the last match day game day play that just completed, and what do you see happening in the group stages, at least for the teams that are in there? Because I mean, we still see Equatorial Guinea topping Group A, and it's possible that they can actually not make it into the second round of play. No.
You're making a point. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, you're coming
Okay,
in
yeah,
clear.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're making a point. I because for some reason I think Nigeria is going to beat Guinea-Bissau and Equatorial Guinea, and Ivory Coast is going to beat Equatorial Guinea. But I don't think that's going to stop them from making it to the round of 16. They might be one of those four third teams. Equatorial
Okay.
Guinea might end up being one of the four third teams that will make up the last 16 for the tournament. And then for today's game, South Africa's result, South Africa beating Namibia wasn't a shock, but the scoreline was a shock.
Yeah.
Because if I
Okay.
had to predict the game, I would predict, even though Namibia really, I was really impressed with them for everything for day one. So, Namibia was the team that stood out for me. The way, not just the scoreline, but the way they played against Tunisia. If you asked me about today's game with South Africa versus Tunisia, I would go for South Africa, but I didn't see the scoreline being 4-0. I didn't anyway see the scoreline being 4-0. Yeah, so I don't know. South Africa played today, not anything special. They played today like a team that sat down and watched two matches. Their match against Mali, and then the Namibia's game versus Tunisia, and say, okay, let's right our wrongs. This is where they are good, because Namibia is good at the counter, so they didn't even allow Namibia to play in the counter, and they didn't press Namibia, so they were just being very cautious, liberating their balls when they had to do it. And I don't know if I'll say maybe they have seven players playing for the same team in seven players, seven of the starting 11 plays for Mamelodi Sundowns. I don't know if that's a factor, if that brings some togetherness or some cohesion into the team. But yeah,
Yeah.
and then the group of Cameroon, I still stand Senegal first, Guinea second, Cameroon third. I still stand by that. Morocco is going to win the group. The Morocco versus Democratic Republic of Congo was excellent. Morocco scored very early, and then I thought maybe at some point they were complacent. They allowed Congo to get into the game, and once Congo got into the game, they didn't stop. They played like they really wanted to play. They didn't come like they were for, yeah. So in all, the second group games, I don't think, no surprise to me. Maybe score lines, but the results didn't surprise me. Maybe the score lines did surprise me. So
Okay.
everything is almost the way I saw it to be. So let's hope the third day is going to be the same.
Be fun. All right. So two teams with 0 points throughout the game days. Guinea-Bissau has 0 points, and Gambia has 0 points.
Oh, yeah.
Um, what even makes it worse is I think Gambia hasn't scored a single goal in the tournament,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
And so I'm trying to figure out: do you guys think those are shoe-ins for elimination after the third day of play?
No, no, no. That they're gone. They're gone. Mauritania and Gambia, they're gone. There's no hope. I don't. Yeah, there's no way Gambia is going to beat Cameroon 4-0 and maybe to get back to an even goal score. Yeah, goal. How do you call it?
Differential. Goal
Yeah,
differential.
Yeah, goal
yeah.
differential. I don't think there's any way they're going to beat Cameroon 4-0. I don't see that happening. They haven't scored yet, right? While
Well, nobody
Mauritania has
nobody saw
scored two.
South
Yeah.
Africa beating Namibia 4-0.
Yeah, but no, 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 no. I know Cameroon is not looking good, but not 4-0. No, 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 no. He
Yeah,
hasn't got.
South Africa
He hasn't gotten to that, man.
and South Africa versus Namibia. Who is the coach of South Africa? Is that
It's
not
Hugo
Bruce.
Bros. Hugo
Hugo
Bros.
Bruce.
and he was the one who won the 2017
That's true.
AFCON.
He was the one who
AFCON,
shocked
yeah.
everyone.
you remember how he adjusted as he went, how his team adjusted, and
Let's
then
see. Let's see if
let
that
me tell you
happens.
I'm just talking about the South Africa Namibia game. Don't forget that
Yeah.
most of those Namibian players also play in South Africa, so they
That's right.
actually know each other
Yes.
very well. So
Yes. That's true. Like the key players from Namibia, they play in the South African Premier League. That's true.
yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. All right, great, great, great. All right. So, any other standouts? Any other highlights you guys think we need to? Any other teams we need to highlight for the second game day of play? I was pretty disappointed with Tunisia's showing.
Yeah.
They had the game in their pocket, and then, well, no,
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 they came back from they
they
came
came
from
back from
behind,
under
but
a goal down.
at some
But
point,
when the game started,
yeah.
yeah,
The
they
thing,
almost had the game in their grasp, but
Mhm.
we didn't grasp, and they let it go. And it kind of saddens me because they were one of those teams I had as a dark horse in the tournament. I'm not too
Tunisia,
sure they will make it through because their
oh,
last game is against
South Africa.
that's right, and
Yeah,
South Africa need those
South Africa.
points, and
Yeah.
we know how tactically astute Hugo Bruce is. So, any
and,
thoughts around that one, or
and you remember even South Africa's game, right? When they're not the one who missed the penalties, they missed a
Yeah.
lot of the first game.
The,
yes,
They missed
they're
a
the
lot
ones who
about
missed the
three.
penalty
yeah, the
exactly.
penalty against Mali,
And,
and things just
and they
went
could have
sour
beaten
after
Mali
that.
if they
Yeah.
scored that penalty. Yeah, if they scored
Yeah,
that penalty, they could have beaten Mali.
so they have been creating chances, as you see. They scored 4 goals, but they
Hmm.
just need to find that middle ground where they can settle down. But the team that has disappointed me in this first round is Algeria, because
Yes.
although Algeria still has a chance, they have their last game to qualify. But I think they've not been. They've been. I don't know what's wrong with them. Either they are too confident and just missing some opportunities. But
Mhm.
Algeria's actually just they disappointed me.
I think they're gonna beat Mauritania and make it to the round of 16. I think so.
That's right,
Oh
because
yes,
they're
of
on
course
2
they
points
will. They
now.
will.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They could, but Mauritania could also shock us all and not want to bow out without scoring a goal, and
No, no,
even
no.
without winning.
Mauritania scored two goals already
They scored two
against.
goals.
They
Yeah,
scored
yeah.
two against
There you
Angola.
go. Winners two. There you go. But
Two excellent, two
I haven't.
excellent goals. Two
Yeah,
excellent
really good
goals.
goal. I
Yeah.
haven't rated Algeria. I just feel like they still have this big thing, this big target they carry around, and acting this victimhood thing they still do. Say, oh,
And
Cameroon qualified for the World Cup in Qatar and they didn't go.
and
And I
they
think
launched a
that's going to come back
complaint.
to haunt
Algeria launched a complaint again about the refereeing, right?
the
They
referee.
launched a
Exactly.
Yeah, they
And,
have problems. The
refs have been
federation.
pretty good. We just talked about how good refs were this tournament because the refs have been amazing. Only
Yeah.
4 red cards dished out, but every single decision has gone to VAR. And when it came back from VAR, it has been the right decision. No?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But also they have the right to complain if they think that the ref did not do good. So it's part of the games. So I
true.
wouldn't I
But
wouldn't
if they
fault
were
them.
winning, they wouldn't complain. You notice that with Algeria. They tend to complain a lot when they lose or they
No,
don't
but
the game doesn't go
who
their way.
complains when they are winning? I
They are
mean,
Yeah,
just
coach.
yeah. It's
finish it.
difficult to It's almost impossible to complain if you're winning. Yeah, that's true.
That's true. But that coach, man, that guy is a loudmouth. I'm sorry, but Belmadi just rubs me the wrong way. I wouldn't be shocked if they don't make it through. I just feel like Algeria is one of those teams that maybe Mauritania gets up on the right side of the bed that day and knocks them drunk and knocks them out. That would be great. But Angola, like you said, True Lion, Angola has shocked us. Their national anthem, my first time hearing it was yesterday, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Um, strange, right? But anybody in the team or anything you attribute this their shock their real good the performance so far, anything you attribute to uh, any any of the characteristics of the team that you attribute to their success.
Oh, to Angola.
Angola, yes.
Angola has been a good. They have a good football history. They've just been missing for quite a while, but I'm sure they have sat down, worked on their football, and now we see a new generation emerging.
Okay, great, great. Ajab, let's talk for a little bit about um, Tuesday's game. Cameroon, uh, in its hopefully not the final game, but Cameroon is going to be facing Gambia.
Mhm.
What do we expect from that game? Do you think, with all what has been happening, Coach Song goes onto the drawing board with his assistants and his team, and they figure out a way to get past Gambia's uh, what? How would I say it? Because Gambia has set up pretty well when they start out the games. I don't know what it is, but they have collected cards that have force them to not play the way they usually play, right? Um, should how do I frame this question? Should we look at Cameroon versus Gambia as a sure 3 points for Cameroon, and then see if the coach just works out a plan to get as many goals as possible, so that Cameroon is in a good place to get third place finish for a third place finish?
Oh, maybe so Gambia, what's the oh they haven't scored yet. So they have
They haven't. Yes,
yeah, so they have okay.
they
How
lost three
many
zero to Senegal and 1-0.
Cameroon has scored two and conceded four. So they
That's right.
need okay. So Cameroon needs
So
to win like
before you answer
two.
that, let me just point out. So third place. How is it considered? Third place points matter, of course,
Mhm,
right? And then head to heads will come into
mhm,
play, and then
mhm.
goal difference comes into play,
No,
and
there's no head.
then most goals scored
There's no head
also
to head.
comes into play.
No, there's no head to head.
There's no. Oh no, there will
Yeah,
not
it's
be head
just
to head.
goals.
That's
It's
right.
just the
That's
goals.
right.
The
That's
goals.
right. That's right. It
Then
will be goal
at
difference, most goals scored,
mhm,
uh, head to not head to head points, of course, points, and then cards, right? Fair play.
mhm.
That's is that the order, or did I get it upside?
Well, I'm
Did I
not very
mix?
sure about the other, but goals, points, and
Yeah,
Goals.
goals are the
goals
key.
Yeah,
scored and fair play counts, right? Yeah. So go ahead.
I
Clean
think
sheets too, right?
yeah, as it stands, Cameroon is the sixth place in terms for all for third teams. Cameroon
Yes.
is the sixth place. So if we say today was the last day of playing group in the group stage, Cameroon will not make it to the round of 16 because if you look at all the third place teams, Cameroon is sixth in terms of
Yeah.
points and goals and all that. So they really need to score more goals. They need to score goals against Gambia. I was yesterday, or I don't know, maybe it was just because of the way I watched Cameroon put up, and then I watched other teams who are less talented than Cameroon putting up a better show in the way they build up the game and even get close to scoring. I was thinking Cameroon may not be able to beat Gambia, but I see Cameroon beating Gambia, but it may be 2-1, 2-0 max score line.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you because Cameroon has not been creative.
Mhm.
Shots on target after two games, we have three shots on target after two games. We have scored. However, I do believe that we have strikers that can put the ball in the net. The problem is being creative. Cameroon is not
Mhm.
creative enough. I think the best chance of Cameroon to qualify is to finish second. How can that happen? If Senegal goes, and I know Senegal will come up because guys like Jackson will come and play and they are hungry
Yep,
to
yep.
prove themselves. Senegal can beat Guinea with a score of maybe 2-0, 3-0, whatever, because I know Senegal has what it takes. So if they beat Guinea and Cameroon wins their game,
And get
let's say
better goal
2-0,
difference.
3-0,
Hmm.
2-0, 3-0, then Cameroon will finish second.
We'll get
As
ahead.
far
Yeah.
as third is concerned, it's gonna be difficult because the teams, I just call two teams or three teams that we did not expect to be there but are topping their group now. So what would happen is that when a team like Algeria or other big teams play the smaller teams, they're gonna score many goals, and now those smaller teams that were on top might fall in third position, and
Third
they
was
would
yeah.
also have a good goal differential. So that will make it difficult for Cameroon to qualify as third best. I think their best hope is for Senegal to beat Guinea at least 2-0. Then they can beat um, Gambia two
Gambia.
zero or 3-0. So that will put them second ahead of Guinea.
I think 2-0 will not be enough for Cameroon. Cameroon needs at least a 3-0 win against
No,
Gambia.
it depends on the scoreline. If it's 2-0 for Cameroon, Cameroon cancels the two goal deficit they have. So if
Definitely.
Senegal goes ahead, Senegal Mali has just one goal,
Plus one.
one
Yeah,
goal, one goal. Like let's yeah. So if let's just say Senegal, the game between
2-0.
Guinea and Senegal ends 2-0 in favor of Guinea.
Oh yeah, that's
Senegal
right.
goes now to a one goal
Senegal
deficit. So Cameroon now
will be over them.
emerges
Okay.
second in the group. So,
Yeah,
but another thing is yeah, you're gonna see people like Idrissa Gueye gonna start for Senegal, and some of Mike Nicolas Jackson. All those people are gonna say, okay, even though we didn't start the first two games, we're still able to show up for Senegal. Yeah, so
That's
it's
true.
gonna be a good game. Senegal is gonna show
It's
up,
very
and let's not
exciting.
forget Mali too is gonna show up. They're gonna show. Sorry,
it's
I
not
keep saying
Mali.
Mali, Guinea. Guinea is going to
Guinea,
show up.
because they're pretty close. Yeah,
Yes,
they're close.
they're
I
going to
mean,
Guinea. You may be surprised that Guinea is going to sit back for the game looking for a tie. Eh? You will be
yeah.
surprised
Is
because you
Girassi
know a tie makes them second. Because yeah,
is Girassi back?
Jurassic,
Jurassic,
they said it's a doubt. That Jurassic is a doubt. By tomorrow, they will
he might
confirm
get
if
a few
Jurassic is
minutes.
back. But Nabi
Okay.
Yeah,
Keita is fit. Nabi Keita is fit, and but Cabano is not going to play. I think his straight red card was 2 games, so he's
yeah,
not going
you're
to
right.
play.
So and this is the same scenario. This is the same scenario with teams like Ghana, right? Because Ghana is on -1, and they're
Mm-hmm,
just like the fifth. If you were to take third place teams now, they're fifth, right? And Cameroon is sixth.
mm-hmm.
So Ghana faces the same situation, and what is the other one? Egypt is not really in that position because Egypt, although they are only on 2 points, they stand a chance to beat uh what is it?
Kiveri,
Bird?
Kiveri.
I'm not too sure. Egypt might
It's
just
gonna
bow
be good.
out.
It's gonna be a
Yeah,
good game.
Cape Verde
Well,
can take care of Egypt for
I
us,
predict
right?
I predicted that Egypt would be disappointing in this African Cup of Nations, and
Yeah.
with Mo Salah out, I think that's going to be a tough game for them.
Well, I kind of need them to win so that they can go through and Arsenal can take care of Liverpool without Mo Salah in a few weeks. So, personal, personal or individual thing, fish to fry there. But guys, this is really, really, really a tough tournament. No, I mean teams have really come in ready to compete, and that's it's showing. If you look at the table, Equatorial Guinea tops Group A, Cape Verde tops Group B. Angola tops Group D, Mali tops Group E, Morocco tops Group F. I skipped Group B because Senegal is a shoe-in. They're the defending champions. You would expect them to be at the top of their group. What do you make of it? What are your takeaways before we jump into talking some more about Cameroon's math in order to survive
No,
in the tournament?
as I've maintained, I mean the tournament is very competitive. It tells you how some African teams have focused on their local game and how they have improved. So teams like Cameroon that are not working for the long term are only trying to work for short term. That's the result. We can see the teams that have been working on their football and that have a game plan. Their football is more attractive, it's creative, and yep, that's the result.
It's such a good thing that this is happening now in our lifetime, and we're actually witnessing it, and we can talk about it, right? I remember growing up as a young man and watching the Nations Cup in 1990, and I'm just sitting back like trying to understand a little bit. Oh, was it 1990? Yeah. Trying to understand what exactly is happening, how this is working out, and all that good stuff. Now I can sit here and talk about it, look at tables, look at stats, amongst other things. Now, gentlemen, it's been a great tournament in Ivory Coast so far. Any newsworthy items that we need to think about, or any standouts in terms of play, in terms of revelation players who have really, really stepped in there? Because it almost like every player has come to play. If you were to pick out an MVP right now in the tournament, who would you pick?
Yeah. I remember at the beginning, the very first day we had a talk here, Tru3lion was saying the way football is being consumed, it's going to be difficult to have someone new. But I think we're going to have someone new. The way the tournament has unfolded in the two playing the day one and day two, we're going to have some surprise packages, not packages, but like individuals. Maybe, yeah, and not even when. And the problem is like, which I still kind of side with him, is that when you start getting to the semifinals, maybe they're going to focus now on those 4 teams where the best player and all that is going to come out from. But for some reason, I think there's going to be one new person in that semifinal. We're not going to have the regulars or maybe the favorites. Just all 4 teams are going to be favorites. I think we're going to have one tag person because I think maybe the way the groupings have been set up, it might end up having some two of those known favorites meeting up at the quarterfinals. So we might end up having one of the newbies or the surprise packages at the semi. So, but if you ask me the player of the tournament so far, I'll still give it to Lamin Kamara.
Lamin. Okay,
Yeah.
Lamin Camara is your choice. True Lion. What are you thinking?
Well, I'll stick by my guns. The way football is being consumed nowadays, we see those players like he just mentioned Camara, and I remember last week he was talking how he saw Lamin Camara grow up from through the ranks and all that. I mean, we have the game in our palms, right? We can watch it from our devices and all that. So the way the game is being consumed and the way teams defend nowadays, it's
Yes.
difficult to see a player just blossom or just dominate others that much where it will be glaring and everybody will be talking about them. Yeah, well, now you can call Lamin Camara, but there are many different players. The player who just scored the hat trick the other day, that's a rarity in the game,
Mhm.
you know. So there are many different players that have actually come out to play. I mean, football is now more of a team sport than when it used to be like, Roger Mila is there and everybody's talking, or Eto'o will just come and dominate. Even the likes of Oshimen that came in as a big name this tournament, he's playing a vital role, but nobody's talking about him because he's not scored four
Mhm.
goals and
That's
stuff like that.
yeah,
So
that's true.
yeah, but it's gonna come up to who wins the title. It's gonna come up to who wins the title.
And
And
wouldn't that be easy pickings though? If we have
no,
to
it
wait for
won't. It
somebody
won't.
to win and
It,
then we find the best player in that team?
No, it won't be easy because we've seen the track record of Senegal, how they're going, and Camara
Yeah,
is actually being outstanding. But due to respect, he might not even get it because he's still young. You know how football works now. The commercials, he's not maybe as
yeah,
marketable.
he's
So
not
maybe
marketable. That's the term. He's not
yeah.
marketable.
So
Yeah. All right. So I mean, for Senegal has really impressed. They're defending their title quite well, and I believe that, which is shocking to me because I didn't think that they would be impressed that way. Because historically, the holder has always struggled, right? Remember Cameroon winning in 2017 and then bombing in 2000. Was it 20 when we went to
2019, 2019.
2019 Nigeria
2019,
3-2.
sorry, and
Yeah.
then we bombed. Yeah, exactly. So
Mhm.
you think about those things, and you're wondering to yourself, like, what could be happening this year? Because Senegal has really, really defended their title well, and they stand a chance of doing the same thing in 2 days on Tuesday.
Well, yes.
Um,
Yeah, go
yeah, go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah,
No,
well,
no,
they have
please,
not yet defended. They have not yet defended. Defended the title
defended.
yet.
Yeah, but they're doing a
But in
pretty
the
good job,
history,
right?
of CAF, of AFCON, three teams have
Mhm.
done it. Egypt has done it twice.
True.
The second time they did it was 2006, 2008, 2010, and they did it like three times in a row. Dominance.
Mhm.
Cameroon has done it twice in 2000, 2002.
I
Ghana
think
has
that
also done it.
Ghana did it in the past, yeah, in the
Ghana has
80s,
Ghana did. Yeah.
or 70s, 80s, yeah. And
Yep.
then Cameroon 20,
I
2000,
mean, that was
2002,
when
then Egypt
football.
6, 8, 10, yeah.
Yeah, that was when football was not what it is today. Football is no longer what it was then, right? I
Oh
It
mean,
was
no,
you
better.
can you
no. What are
hardly
you
see.
talking
It's
about?
like saying, I mean, Man City did let's
No, what
for
are you talking
as a
about,
point of
man?
reference. Man City did a three-peat. They can't. Oh, sorry, they did a treble. You think they can do a repeat, even though they're playing well?
No,
It's
I mean
tough.
when you say football was not that then, can you compare
No, I mean
the
right
Cameroon
now.
team?
So let me explain. Right now, many teams are very tactically aware of what's happening. Right.
Even back then,
So I'm sorry, what was that?
even back then,
Back then? No, I mean, yes, but back then you could see teams dominate constant. Like there were teams that could dominate. Egypt, for example, when Egypt was in its prime, it was hard to beat them, right? Any you could easily say when they go into a game that Egypt is going to win because that's how good Egypt was. Just like the glory days of Cameroon.
no, but
Cameroon couldn't
the opponents were also very good in Cameroon in 2000 and 2002. Cameroon played Nigeria and Senegal in the finals, and those were star-studded teams.
star quality teams. That's right. But I'm just saying, if you look at it back then, and compare it to today, right? Do you have any team really coming in and dominating the game as those teams did back then? Because back then,
Senegal is
many players
dominating.
played with a lot more grit than now. I'm not seeing a lot of grit. I do see a lot of talent. I'm
No,
just not
no,
seeing
no,
grit
no.
because
It's just that
you had people who could just power through a game because of true of heart. That's kind of what I'm saying. Heart. So, for example, Cameroon's team now, when you look at Cameroon's team, can you point out anybody in Cameroon's team who plays with heart?
the team is not good.
It's not about not being good, but does
No,
anybody
what,
play with heart?
no, what I'm trying to say is that there are other teams that are better than Cameroon right now. So you should not take Cameroon
Agreed.
as an example because they are not a good team.
And there are teams that were better than us before, though. But we played with
No,
heart and grit.
no, no. Okay, let me ask you a
Yes.
question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
For you, what's the best Cameroonian team of all time? Is it
I would
1990?
say the Abega Teofil era.
1990 team?
Yeah. Abega
Okay.
Teofil era.
Okay. Do you know in the 1990 team did not make it to the eliminatory? Did not make it out of
The
their group.
AFCON, right? They did not
Okay. Do
make it
you know
through
that
the
they did
AFCON.
not make it out of their group?
But yeah, but they
But
what did they
that's
do
a
in the
team that
World
played
Cup?
with heart, right?
But what did they do in the World Cup after that?
Oh no, I'm just we are in African Nations Cup, bro. So I'm just
So
trying
that's
to
what I'm
understand.
saying. That's what I'm
No, no,
saying.
no, no. You
So
said the team played with heart. That's why I'm asking you that
exactly.
that
And
team that played with heart did not make it out of a group that was Zambia. Zambia won that group, and Senegal beat us 2-0. So the
and
team
they
that
didn't have
played with
talent.
heart also
They
failed.
didn't have that much talent. We had just four or five really good names in the team then. And that's what you're saying. That's what I'm saying.
Wait. No. What? The
No,
1990 team?
that's the point I'm making. They did not have that much talent.
The
Like you just said,
1990
the
team
team
did not
now
have
does
talent?
not have talent, but
Hold
we don't
on.
have anybody playing with heart. That's the point I'm making. We don't have anybody on the team now playing with
Bro,
heart.
bro,
You
that
saw the way people were walking around on the field. You
oh.
saw the way people were keeping their heads down. Not even the coach was telling them, look up, face the ball, do this, do that. Not even the captain. So
Okay,
there's
but that
nobody on that
bro,
field
bro,
right now playing with heart.
bro.
Mhm.
When a team is bad, it's bad. You should not take it as a standard and start comparing. I'm just telling you that the 1990 team
Mhm.
that played with heart was bad. The 1994 team that played with heart at one point in USA, they were bad.
It
Okay,
was,
so it's
I
not
mean, yeah, I mean, the
playing
World
with
Cup.
heart. Okay, this is what playing with heart means. When a team is in sync, which
Mhm.
means good coaching, they express themselves better. That's called playing with heart. A team that is not in sync has how they gonna play with heart?
No, but I mean, even if you're, well, it all boils down to the coach, I think. The mentality, the team mentality should matter, right? The way that the team, you prepare the team for a game, even if they're not talented. I mean, you've seen in the Premier League and other teams where other tournaments where small teams come and beat the big teams, even with no recognizable name, right? At least we have one or two recognizable names in our team right now. But the way they're playing, there is no heart. And I think, yes, we can blame the coach as much as we want to. I just feel like the players should at some point take responsibility for this. There
No,
has to be some responsibility for the
the
players.
players are taking responsibility, but I think majority of the responsibility to go to the person who's coaching them at some point. The player is not like the coach is taking 100%, but that's football. When a team is not performing well, you won't sack all the 25 players. You will sack who's the gaffer, right? So that's how
Okay.
we look at it. And if one of the principal roles of a manager or coach is to get the best out of players. If you can't get the best out of those players, it means there's something lacking, right? Right?
So do you
So it
think
means,
Song is not doing that?
yeah, I think he's not doing that. He's not
How?
getting the best. He's not getting the best out of the players. When you say the players are not playing with heart, what's happening that the players cannot play with heart? They don't like song, or they don't like the country, or they don't like the green jersey, the green red yellow jersey. Something is wrong somewhere. And I don't think it has to do with pay, the bonus, and all that. They arrived on time, they camped on time, they played their friendlies, they got. But I think something has been lacking for the last 20 games. So we
Yeah,
cannot say the players chose not to play. Only for the last 20 games that they're not playing with heart.
okay,
You know?
Okay. So
yes,
think
this is
about
what
this,
I
guys.
say.
Think about this for a second. Rigobert Song is the manager, right?
Yeah, as a
Is the
coach, yeah.
manager.
Mhm.
Augustin Simo is second in command, right?
Mhm. No, no, no.
Followed by
He's the
um
first. He's the second in
the
command.
first
Yes, he's the
assistant
second
manager,
assistant.
first assistant.
No, he's
Second
the second
assistant
assistant.
is a
He's a second
Frenchman,
assistant.
a European guy.
Simon Augustin is the second assistant. The first assistant is the French guy.
Is a French guy. Okay.
Yeah.
And that French guy has coached teams like
Mhm.
uh you know, African teams, and
He was
he's
fired.
like
He was fired from Kenya.
from
Bad
Kenya, yeah.
result.
He no, I think after Kenya he went to Equatorial Guinea. He coached just for 2 games and then he left. He was intern
Okay.
coach in Equatorial Guinea. Okay, what I'm trying to say, okay, what is that? Suleimanu is the goalkeeper coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just bear with me for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Uh Samuel Eto'o is like the president of the federation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, What I'm trying to say is there's so much. Raymond Kala is involved in the team. He's a team
Hmm.
manager, like
Yeah.
So the team has the players have enough inspiring folks to look up to, right?
Okay.
To want to
Hmm.
play, to defend the colors of their nation. But
Okay.
if you mean to tell me that all this staff, they can't sit down and come up with a formula to motivate these guys to play and perform on the field? These guys have done it before. We can blame Song as much as we want, but I think
Hmm.
at some point a professional needs to take responsibility for the
Okay.
job they
So
have to
yeah.
do.
So
Okay,
okay.
so
Nico, I want to ask you a question. Do you think if they bring someone else, let's say, who do you think is your best coach in Africa right now in African football? Who do you think?
Um, Quite easily, I would just say the coach of Senegal.
Okay. If
Yeah.
you think the coach of Senegal becomes the coach of Cameroon, something is going to change, or you think it's just the players? You think something is going to change in terms
Well,
of
when a new coach
performance, in
comes in,
terms of
players have to try to impress. So generally, it's the same. It happens, right? The new coach, we see it in a lot of tournaments, a lot
no,
of
no, no.
games.
I'm not
There's
talking
a new
about
coach, the
immediate
team
change.
starts playing.
I mean, like let's say today, or let's say no, after the AFCON, he's appointed the coach of Cameroon. 2 years down the line, in 2026 February, are you going to see a change, or you think after the first few
Absolutely.
months
Yeah.
of the impressive, they're going to go back to playing without the heart? Because I know you're saying your main focus is that they're not playing with your heart.
Absolutely, absolutely. There will be a change. Is that the coach has a different play style. He's going to come in with his other team. They might have a different way of motivating the players because there might just be something that's missing now that's not working. But I think the players still have to take responsibility. If you and I walk into a room and we know that there was supposed to be a cleaner to clean the room, and we notice that the room is not perfectly clean, we have to do something because we have to entertain guests who are coming after we walk in. We will step in and do the job. That's accepting responsibility and doing your part to ensure that
yeah,
things go right.
Nico, let me
Right?
ask you
You
this,
have
right?
someone like Angisa who plays for a top-rated team. These guys nearly won the Champions League. What is he telling his teammates in the dressing room? Oh, it's Song's fault. No, you act as a leader in the dressing room. Tell
But
them,
let me
look,
ask you
guys,
this.
we've come this far. Let's not go out with our tails
So,
tucked.
Let me
so,
ask you
so
this.
you guarantee that he's not telling them that.
I mean, if he's doing it, he's not showing it on the field.
Let
You
me
saw
ask you
him
this.
walking around with his head down, and instead of encouraging his players, he wasn't doing that. He
Nico, let me
wasn't.
ask you this. Let me ask you this, Nico.
Yes.
What's one when you talk about coaching? What's
Mhm.
the best record to classify a coach? Because
A coach's job.
Rigobert Song has won 5 games. He's
Yes.
lost 8 games
Mhm.
and he's drawn 8 games. What does that tell you
True.
about Rigobert Song?
Tells me that he's not probably the best at his
No, no,
job.
no. I mean, no. What? No. I mean, what does it tell you about him? He's losing, right?
That's true.
Okay,
He's
he's losing.
losing.
So in a football team, players are not easily moved around. Who gets the blame when results are not there? The
Most
coach.
likely the coach, of course, because the coach is the leader
Okay,
of the leader of the ship
let's move away
or the
from that.
captain of the
Let's move
ship.
away from that, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes when you lose and you see patterns in a coach's game or in a team's game, there's
True.
hope. Is there any hope with Rigobert Song? Have you seen any patterns? Just tell me, have you seen any patterns,
I
any
mean,
creativity when it comes to Rigobert Song?
so let me just I'm gonna keep playing devil's
No,
advocate on this
it's a yes
piece.
or no. It's a yes
I,
or no question because
I know
one thing.
you're taking me into
No,
a corner where I cannot easily maneuver my way out
no,
of
no,
it,
no.
and
I'm
I'm
not
just
trying to. I'm not trying to.
okay.
I'm just talking. I want to be blunt.
All
That's
right,
what I'm
repeat
doing.
your question. Repeat your question. Let's go for it.
Have you seen any patterns after 2 years that you can say,
No,
oh, this
there's
starts
no
good? Have you
pattern.
seen any
It's
pattern?
actually gotten worse. That's true. It's gotten worse.
Okay. Do you know that the last coach, Conceição, that was there, has a better record? And when Eto fired him, Eto was saying that he wants results and he wants to see patterns in the style of play.
That could have been marketing talk. That could have just been marketing talk. So you can assign someone. You can
Bro,
yeah.
we are talking facts. I'm not talking if we are talking facts. I'm taking facts from Samuel Eto'o because Rigobert's song. Do you know why people are supporting Rigobert's song?
Why?
It's
He's a
because of
former
Eto'o.
Lion.
No, it's because Eto'o put him there. He's lost the trust of everybody I know. But
Mm,
those who back him are backing him because of Samuel Eto'o.
okay. So they're backing him in spite of Samuel Eto'o. Good point. Good point. All right. I'm always going to play devil's advocate on this. I just feel like we scapegoat Song too much. Eto is doing an amazing job, but there's something that has been missing in Cameroonian football for so long that we it's catching up to us now, and it's unfortunate that Song is at the helm of the team when it's really being exposed. It's just like Man United, where everything comes crumbling down at the time when they have such an amazing coach as their coach, and everybody's pointing the finger at the coach, not realizing the house does not really have a strong foundation. Old
Uh,
Trafford,
and
and I'm just going
Woodford.
to use that as a reference
I mean,
to
Woodford. When
kind
you
of make
say,
my point. Yes, go
yeah,
ahead.
when you say Eto'o is doing an amazing job, Eto'o is doing. I'll rank this in two, right? Short term and
Mhm.
long term. Long
True.
term goals, Eto'o is doing an amazing job because he wants to fix the local league and he's
Yeah.
putting everything in place for the national team to succeed. That's long term. Yes, he's
Hmm.
doing good. But short term, he's the one who hired some. So I cannot say he's doing an amazing job on the short term goals.
I
That's
mean,
my opinion.
can we really say that though, that he's not? I mean, short term he hasn't
I'm
done
talking
much.
results. Football is
No,
a
but think
result
about a
driven.
situation. You've seen the video where how the team traveled to the to the tournament. You've seen how the team has been taken care of since Eto came in. You've seen
Those are
nobody's
basics.
disputing salaries. Nobody's talking about unpaid salaries and things like that. So
Those are basics.
short term, he has also done a lot. No,
Yeah, no, I'm talking about result. I'm talking about result driven,
okay,
right?
so
I'm not talking about the little how do they call it? Little basics, basic stuff. I'm not talking basic.
true,
I'm talking about
true.
result. We're in a result
But in
driven
order to
sport.
get results, there needs to be a process.
Well, that's man. That's why I say short term and long term. So the
Okay,
process is long term.
good.
Short term is now.
All right, I'll throw in the towel on this one, True Line. I'll throw in the towel. I know you had a very nice long piece about Song and his failures, and I really appreciate that you did that. So I wanted to have you maybe just talk about that. So this was my way of playing devil's advocate to try to take apart what you've argued already in at length, against Song as the coach, and I agree, there were better options, but who is to say somebody else doesn't come in and face the same issues Song is now facing? I feel that for all the scapegoating we're doing over Song, it's generally a team thing. So it's a coaching staff, not just Song. I feel like the team's lineups are not drawn by him. You could see clearly what he was trying to do in the second game. The players didn't seem to be in the mood after 10, 15 minutes, and it really, really disappointed. So I don't think he should take that blame alone. I think it should be a shared thing, but I understand. And so let me give you a few minutes or a few moments to just maybe explain a little bit more why you pivoted and you're pointing a finger at Song so much, and that should give our audience a little bit of an understanding, or some perspective as to why you state the way you stated what you stated earlier.
Yeah, my position has never changed on Rigobert Song. Normally, you give in a national team. Football works so fast, right? In a
Mhm.
national team, 2 years is like a decade.
True.
Okay. Yeah, 2 years is like a decade, because and if you look at Song's record right now, he's even playing more games than the previous coaches because Ito is giving him so many friendlies. And when asked about friendlies, Rigobert Song, when we show his record, we say 5 wins, 8 losses, 8 draws. You know what he says? He says it's like what Allen Iverson famously said: "It's practice.
It's
It's
practice.
practice. I was not hired to win
Yeah.
friendly games."
Yep.
That's a lame excuse. That's an excuse of a loser. You see, and after 6 games, I did not see any patterns in Rigobert Song's game. Okay, and I said this guy is not a coach, and he also has a record on the under 23s. So it's not today that we know Rigobert Song. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, the record is there. I mean, Ayab. I just had a discussion with Ayab. Okay, and he can attest this. We spoke about the 1990 team. Valerie Niepunyachi was hired. He
Yes.
went
The
for
Bonnier.
African Nations Cup. Guess what?
That's
Cameroon.
arguably the best coach we've ever had, though. because he
You
took
think
Wow.
us to the
so?
quarterfinals of the
I,
World Cup.
I don't think so. But
I don't think so.
yeah,
But
let's actually move on.
Hmm. You're
He
talking
did not
about
make,
results. That's
he
why
did
I
not
pointed
listen. Listen, he did not make it out of the group stage.
in the AFCON.
Zambia beat us 1-0.
Yes.
yeah,
Senegal beat us 2-0. And we
2-0,
beat
and then we beat Kenya
Nigeria 2-0. Back in
2-0.
the
Yeah.
days, it was just the best two. So Cameroon was out. Guess what? 3 months after, everything changed. Cameroon made it to the quarterfinals. Man, he did not even stay with the Lions for up to a year. Now you're telling me that a guy, Rigobert Song, that has played more games and that has a losing record needs more time? No one, I don't know. Are you blaming? Are you not blaming? Are you not saying the players also have responsibilities? Did we
No,
not blame some
no,
of the players?
no.
Came
The
in,
players they do have responsibility, but I think if we, you know what? If you ask me, I will say he should stay. You know why I want him to stay? So that those who think he needs time will know if he actually needs time, and also that he should prove those who think he should be kicked out right away. He should prove them wrong, because they keep saying, and I won't even get there. They keep asking how long has the coach of Senegal been with Senegal and all that. The coach of Senegal wasn't this. If you look at his first 20 games or first 15 games in charge, the
improvement,
results were not the results were not this way. But I don't even want to go there. If we want to look at the stats of I used to say it's not this way. The Cameroonians think if you don't win a tournament, you've underperformed. You more if you don't, either you win or you don't win. You know, to them, someone who is out in the group stage is the same as someone who is out in the quarterfinals because you do not win. So since Senegal never won an AFCON till 20 to 2021, Al UCC has been underperforming. That's how they look at it. So I don't even want to get into arguments like that. But what I'm saying is that if you ask me right now, after Senegal, after Cameroon played Senegal, I would have said, okay, no, Song to go. But I want Song to stay because he said that he's building a team for the future and all that. I want to see the team for the future he's building, because if you see his selection, I mentioned it at the very first day we had a talk here, even before Cameroon played the first game. That if you look at the selection, it's built. They have some inexperienced players there. It shows that he's trying to build a team. But
Mhm.
building a team for the future is not just selecting young guys. The application, the way you apply your tactics on the pitch, the way you play your games, the subs you make, we can know that okay, this is someone that wants to build a team and is not cheating. If Moge, or how they call him, the guy from Marseille didn't show up, and then you bring him back someone like Gamale, you're not building a team. Gamale has been in the team forever. You'd have brought another young guy into the squad. To if you're actually looking at rebuilding, you have kids like Elliot who I think they're comfortable with the ball. They don't have the experience. I can bet you Cameroon they will lack creativity against Guinea. That would have been a game to bring in that young man to maybe show what he has to offer to Cameroonians. Now Cameroon needs to beat Gambia. I'm quite sure that he may not start the game. I'm just thinking that if Cameroon is going to rely on set pieces against Gambia to win, and players like Elliot may not be part of that setup. That's how I look at it. So if you ask me, it's not only about like some people say, right? And Tru3lion said, you see a team losing a game, and then after the match, you say, hey, Massa, that people lose that game, bet Massa. That man, you see that goal where the man miss, you see that goal where the man miss, you see that window where the people play for midfield. It hasn't happened in Cameroon for a very long time. So that's the pattern thing we're talking about. Some people lose games and some people lose games. So that's where my problem is. But I will say, let's give him the time. He wants to build a team. I don't know. I don't know how he's going to build a team. But for now, yeah, I'm not convinced at all with his show up so far as the coach of the Lions.
All right,
So
let's
yeah,
sample. Thank you so much, Ajab, for that perspective. Let's sample some opinions here. I see a note from Abaqua Studio. I applaud Ito for appointing a Cameroonian as coach of the Indomitable Lions, but his choice of songs questionable. There are better options from Cameroon that are more qualified than Song. What do you guys think? Who could have come in there instead of Song? Who has
I
their
mean,
coaching license?
yeah, I mean that's what we've been saying for a long time. Someone I was speaking to one of my friends today. He talked to me about Patrick Boma. I personally have seen Webo on the touchline UEFA
Yeah,
as an assistant coach.
assistant
There's,
coach.
there's also I want to say what's his name, this
I,
striker in
I,
Meyongze. Yeah, I
I
mean
bet
there are
Meyonze
Mayonnaise.
coaches
Yeah.
in Portugal, I think. But what about someone like Francois Omambik? What do you think about someone like Francois Omambik?
Is
I think
Omambi coaching?
Omambi. was with the national team before, and he had some scandals, and nobody actually really respects him that way because you need to bring someone with that will. I mean,
Okay.
that one that somebody that embodies respect. Because if a guy like Weibo comes and they know that he's been coaching UEFA and he's all about business, because Weibo was a fine professional, so that would be someone who will actually command respect.
That's right.
Personally, I don't think I want Boma because what where's Patrick Boma coach? I don't want that
No,
same circle.
another thing too. The problem is if Cameroon succeed in rebuilding their structure, not just the national team, in the sense that if you look at someone that you say, okay, I want this person to eventually be the coach of Cameroon in the next full 3, 4, 5 years, and then you start him with the youth team or the under 23 team and something like that, and then he gradually builds up. It's just that we don't have a system. We have players who play in the under 23 national team, and then you don't hear about them again
Hear
until they
about
turn
them
like
ever
35.
again.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
why.
problem. That's
Yeah,
where the problem is, because if you actually have someone coach the youth team, and then he moves from the U20 to U23, and then U23 to national team, you will see some continuity. But it doesn't happen in Cameroon. We have players. You see someone, this player will be like the star player for the U20. You don't hear about him. And then so in 10 years time, you go to Cameroon to visit, and you meet him playing evening soccer, and you hear that he stopped playing ball like 5 years ago. And then someone else is like 32 years. That's when he shows up again. We don't have that continuity. Maybe that's a problem too, because if we have that structure, the good thing will be give someone an assignment that I want you to become the coach of the national team, but I need to see some continuity. Start from the youth team and build up, because at least he started from the youth team and then he moved up to the senior team. That's why I don't want people to compare Song and Cisse, because Song tried with the youth team or the U23 team and he failed, but they rewarded him with the senior team. So that's how I don't know if you reward someone based on performance or something else. Say they will tell you Say did not win the Olympics, but he started with the Olympics team, and then he joined the national team because they saw something in it. Even though he did not win, he gave England. You saw the pool he was in during the Olympic Games 2012. He gave England a run for their money. I think which other team? Great Britain, sorry, that was you had players from Wales, England, and
yeah.
Scotland join together to make you could see that there was some continuity in the team. I think that's why they said, okay, 2015, take over the senior team, and then he's been there ever since. They've not been winning until the last AFCON when they won. But if you see Senegal last year, you see that Senegal they have something in mind. Last year, 2022 or 2023, Senegal won AFCON, U17, U20, U23, AFCON.
Three.
They
Yeah.
won all those four major
Oh,
soccer
all of
tournaments. So you see that they have something in mind, something in place. So if Cameroon can do something like that, there's a problem. Like I always say, Cameroon, they're not patient enough. If Cameroon can say, okay, give us a few years to rebuild something and then we start seeing results, it will
and
happen.
don't you think that's what Ito is trying to do here?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but
No,
that's what I said. That's why I divided my write up. I said long
the
term
long
and short
term.
term goals.
Yeah,
The long term goals are basically fake food, and long term goals is not only fake food that can do it. The nation has to do it because you know how business actually works in Cameroon.
yeah.
Because you need infrastructures, you need a lot of things in different areas. That's why when they were organizing the African Cup of Nations, I was crying. I said we are wasting money building big stadiums when what
We
we
should be
need
building.
are,
Yeah.
pitch around the regions, the 10 regions, so that kids can actually practice and play football. That's how you build grassroots football, right? But now the short-term goal is what we're talking about now: African Cup of Nations, and those things can run hand in hand, parallel. You understand? So the short-term goals must not be achieved because we are trying to achieve long-term goals. So for
Okay.
me, I think this is the end of the road for Rigobert Song. He'll be fired.
All right, amazing stuff there. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate the commentary and what you guys have brought to the conversation. There's another comment here about Elliot. I think our friend Julius, he says it's better to lose with Elliot than Neu. That will be how he would rebuild, and he'll be convinced that that's a rebuilding effort. There's also another comment here by Bakwa Studio. Weibo is a coach. Weibo as a coach is more palatable than Boma because he has a track record that can be referenced. Cameroon needs to select coaches with respectable references and time spent on
Exactly.
the sidelines. I agree. I think I tend to
Yes.
agree.
Sorry, let me just go back to that rebuilding thing. If you saw Cameroon's squad in the
Yes.
1994 World Cup, you know that Harry Michel came to rebuild. Even though after that World Cup he left. If you see his selection, this is the selection of Harry Michel. Cameroon's first game against Sweden. You see
Hmm.
players like you had Foué Marc Vivien, Rigobert Song, Raymond Kala. Those are the people who played. What happened 4 or 5 years down the line? Those were the key of the
Yep.
national team. That's how you rebuild. You go knowing that okay, I want to rebuild. Give these players a chance to showcase, to have that experience. Experience is not going to sit on the bench and then come to say, okay, no, I went to Ivory Coast. You know, experience is having a taste, so that by the time we go to the next AFCON, these players at least they played 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 minutes. That's how Cameroon. They had people like Mbe David. They had Song. Song was a starter. Song and Kala. That was a backline for Cameroon. Song
Yep.
had the red card against Brazil. That's why Nziba came in on the third day against Russia to play. But Song was the starter for Cameroon with Kala in the center of the then Foué Marc Vivien playing in the middle of the field. That's
I
how
think I
Cameroon played.
remember
You
him in
understand?
Christopher
So that's how
Wilson
you
was
that's
good.
how you do some of those things where you say you're rebuilding. Those young guys that you think you're bringing to the team for rebuilding, give them the chance to play. And if you put a young guy on the pitch against Senegal, at the back of his mind is like, okay, if I can play against Senegal, which is the African champion, and I prove myself, it means I'm going to have a place in this squad. Don't bring him in at the 5 or 10 minutes to the end of the match to prove himself. Give them some of them. Give them that thing. That would be a make it or break it for sure. But if they have the play, some played against Sweden. The second goal Cameroon scored was a long ball, what the Frenchman called relance from Song that Omam scored. He came against Brazil and he panicked a little bit and he got a red card. But Song left that Nations Cup knowing that, okay, they've given me the confidence at this age, still playing
Yep.
for Tone Yaounde. They've given me the chance to start as the center back for Cameroon Indomitable Lions. It means
Yeah.
if people know I am in the long term plan, I'm going to put in my best. And the rest was
So
history. That's
so
how you do
so
it sometimes. Those young guys, when you take them to tournaments like this, give them playing time. Don't put them on the bench and say you're giving them experience. Experience is not that singing with the radio, holding the microphone and dancing to the hotel. That's not experience. Put them. They should actually play it. They should actually play those games. 20 minutes. If you don't want to start them, give them time. Half time, like Cameroon is playing Guinea. Half time is 0-0, score on target. We're playing with three holding midfields. Get one off and put a creative. The only creative midfielder we have as of now in the lineup is Ben Elliott. But and Cameroon lacks creativity, but you haven't given him the chance. And then you're going to probably give him the chance maybe against Gambia, and then you'll say, nah, that one, Elliott, that one, at the top, nobody don't put it on mess. And then we'll go back to the drawing board and say, no, better we'll put that part and we'll take the thing, go semi-final, quarter. That's it. And that's what's happening. That's what's happening.
but I mean, didn't isn't Song doing that? I mean, just by taking a 17-year-old to the Nations Cup, to surround him with 22-year-olds,
Song was
23-year-olds,
17. Song was
year-olds,
17.
when he first came.
Nzibakim was a
Exactly.
starter for Cameroon in 1990 World Cup,
There you go.
1992
That's the
AFCON.
point I was trying to
Nzibakim
make.
was a starter. You
Thank you.
understand? You understand? Nzibakim was a starter. Kanadi was a starter in the 1990 World Cup and
Yep.
the 1992 AFCON. He brought in Foué Vivien from Canon de Yaoundé as a starter at the World Cup.
Don't forget Oman.
Song was a starter in the World Cup in USA. Nzibakim was on the
Thank
bench.
you.
Don't
Thank
forget
you.
Nziba,
Oman was also young.
But before
yeah.
that, this song. Yes, go ahead, True Lion.
I say he should not forget Oman B, who was also
No,
young.
at least
Yeah,
Omam already played it. I'm looking about
yeah,
the 94 squad. Although Omam already played in the 90. So
90s.
94, he already had experience. I'm talking about those new guys that came in the 94 and they were starters. When you had the players who had played previous World Cups and AFCONs.
Isn't that
Cameroon was eliminated at the semi-finals of the AFCON 92 by Ivory Coast on penalty shootout. So it's not like it was a walk in the park. But you go now to the World Cup, you still have the Intibakens and the other guys,
the running
cannabis. You
song?
put them on the bench and put in those young guys because you want them to know to start their experience at the big stage. Because friendly matches you give them 10 minutes. You go now to the tournament itself, you don't even give them playing time. How are they going to play? Or you want to use now the qualifiers for the World Cup? And mind you, Cameroon has Cape Verde and Angola, the same group for
Yeah,
World Cup qualifiers. So let's watch out. It's not going to be an easy ride.
it's not. It's not going to
Yeah.
be.
So when
I
you
think
have those young guys, give them tournament experience. Give them tournament experience because when it
Monday,
gets to a certain
Monday.
point in time, they will say, oh, that they don't have Hemley. They don't have Hemley. Put the people who have Hemley. You know? and that will go Hemle, and then we'll go back to the drawing board. Like someone said, it's better to lose with Elliot than to lose with the experienced guys. Give those young guys a chance to play, and then if they don't play well, we know they've given them the chance. Then assume that no, they don't have the power to play African football. This is African football. No,
So according to you, the writing is already on the wall for Cameroon, at least for now. I think from what I'm drawing from your conversations here, it looks like we can easily agree to the headline that came out. I think 2 days ago on there was a newspaper article that was out. I think it's what is it? It said something about Cameroon being eliminated.
no,
Uh, what is it? The time for construction, for
no, 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 no,
reconstruction
no.
has come.
Cameroon is
So
not going to
do you
get
believe this
eliminated.
is the
Sorry
time
to
for?
interrupt you.
Yeah,
Cameroon is not going to get it. Cameroon is going to beat
they
Gambia.
said
Cameroon is going to beat Gambia, finish third. And let's hope they meet some country and they beat them. No, no, that. You know, one with the sack song, like that quarter final, and then we'll go back to the drawing, we'll start all over again. So the problem, some people are wishing for Cameroon to get kicked out so that they go start the rebuilding. Because if Cameroon makes it to like quarterfinals or semifinals this year, then they know there's no problem with
rebuilding
Cameroon.
is
They'll go back,
off
you
the.
know, they will know there's no problem with Cameroon, and then they go back to this thing. But
Then we'll
that's
have
the
fun
problem is
again for
like
the World Cup.
what I
Is that
want
what
is
you're
I
saying?
want if you're rebuilding a team, the kids you've brought in to rebuild the team should play a role. In the rebuilding process is not going to start after the Nations Cup. It
But
should
I
start
have,
from the Nations Cup.
but I have.
Okay.
Is that not the reason why I say some should be fired regardless, even if it goes to
Even if
into
he
the
gets to the
knockout stages?
quarterfinal.
Because you just explained that this guy is not a rebuilder; he cannot rebuild. You just
No, no, no. But no, but the
But I
problem
mean,
is, some people are saying he's rebuilding because he called in new guys. Me,
no,
I think that's not how you rebuild. But the problem is, if some should stay, I want him to stay. He should stay.
no,
Let's see the
no.
rebuilding.
I understand your point. I understand your point, right? For me, when I do my analysis, I don't care what people say.
mhm.
Okay, I mean,
No, that's true.
if they're
That's
not
fair. That's fair.
if they're not explaining why they are saying that, if it's not convincing, I don't care. You see what I'm saying? Because you just explained why Song is not even a rebuilder. You just explained. He's playing everything safe. You just explained. I couldn't explain it better. You just explained. So for me, even if it goes in the knockout stage, I know Eto'o will fire him. That I can put my money on it.
You
Okay.
think so? You think so? I know
Oh,
Eto
yes.
is a
Oh, yes.
winner. Eto is a
He's the
winner, but
winner. You
I
could
told
see, I mean, there
bro.
were some videos when Senegal was celebrating the win. Eto had that look in his face, and I don't want to know what he said to those guys when he went into the dressing room.
that was just that
Bro,
match.
let me tell
So
you.
if
Yeah.
Cameroon ends up making it far, his
I
mindset
want,
is going to
let me
change.
tell
He's
you
going to be
something.
a happier person.
But let me tell you something. You just said the World Cup is coming.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Football doesn't end in African Nations Cup.
Yeah.
No,
The
no,
only
it
thing
doesn't.
that Song will be able to do to maintain his job is go to the semifinals and maybe win, go to finals and maybe win this tournament, which is not going to happen. This Rigobert Song, I have seen his level. He doesn't have another level. There's none. And right now, we are not as talented as
Oh,
maybe
ye of
Senegal, right?
little faith.
We are not as
Song
talented.
has a magical card in his
So
hand,
which
and he
means
will
that
play it soon.
no, so which means that in order for us to perform at a good level, we need a better coach. Because when you
Mhm.
don't have that talent, a good coach can complement and raise you up, like how Nepomniachtchi just did, taking a team that did not qualify out of the knockout stage into the knockout stage and going to be the first African team to reach a quarterfinals in the World Cup. That's it.
I mean, gentlemen, we have explored this topic. We've dissected it and rebuilt it and dissected it again. I feel I really appreciate your comments on this. It's really very valuable, and I appreciate that you guys keep bringing these points up. And it's good that we explore these topics. I really really like that. Sometimes it gets contentious, but it's fun. It's fun to explore it together and get your perspective and understand a little bit where you guys are coming from and how you're looking at it. So I don't know, any parting words. What do you guys see? Cameroon, like Ajab said, Cameroon is making it to the second round. True Lion, do you see it the same way?
Yeah, I see. I told you the best way I think Cameroon can make it is by finishing second. I just
Mhm.
told you how Cameroon can finish second because that third position is
It's
tricky.
very
You
tricky.
are competing. You see the amount of because as I said, there are teams that are first now that might just get knocked down to second or third.
To second or third.
Then it becomes very very
Yeah.
Yeah.
complicated. It will
Hmm.
not be dependent on Cameroon. So if Senegal beats Guinea, which I think Senegal will beat Guinea, and Cameroon wins by a score of margin of 2-0. Cameroon finishes second with a better goal differential average. So that's the best
Cameroon
way.
hasn't kept a clean sheet since the tournament started. You think Cameroon can keep a clean sheet against Gambia, and Gambia can actually go home without scoring a single goal?
Of course. I mean,
Of
Gambia,
course.
before the tournament started, I told you that the element of surprise for Gambia is out of the window. I don't see Gambia playing. Now, the only way Gambia can draw or beat Cameroon is Rigobert song. That's the only way. It will be Rigobert
Right.
song.
All right. So Ajab, is the writing already on the wall for Cameroon, or do we still have a chance?
No, no, no. I said Cameroon was going to make it to the round of 16. That like the problem is no. The good thing is that we have only six groups, and then we have four teams from the six groups making it third place. The worst case, Cameroon is going to be amongst the four third place
Or
teams. Yeah,
yeah.
worst case, it's going to happen. That's a good thing about it. So they're going to make it. The problem now is who next they're going to meet. And like I said, they might meet someone and then they go win 1-0 on penalties, and then we say, okay, Song is not as bad as we think. Let's give him a chance, and then that's it. It happened. So the true Lion still thinks the only way Song is going to save his job is by winning the AFCON, but I think otherwise.
Yep, that's the only
Yeah.
way. I mean,
Let's
Mhm.
wait and see. It's a wait and see game, right?
no,
So,
they
any
need to keep
prediction
up.
changes? Anybody prediction changes for anybody, or we stay the same? Teams that have impressed so far, are you sold on them yet? Cape Verde, are they really the true deal here? Black Horse for you, True Lion. That's one that
Oh no, no,
you
my dark horses remains Mali, and my two
Mali. Okay,
favorite teams remain Senegal and Morocco.
Morocco. Yeah.
Morocco
Morocco.
is a little bit dancing, but I can insert another black dark horse. If Nigeria plays the way they played against Ivory Coast in this tournament, Nigeria will become very dangerous.
No, I
Okay,
see Nigeria. I see Nigeria making it to like this. If they don't meet any of those other favorites, Nigeria has it. Nigeria has what it takes. It's just
yeah.
they've been sleeping, but they have what it takes. You see creativity.
So,
Nigeria played against Equatorial Guinea. There was one all time. They had about seven chances. So
mm,
it's different from the way we see the Indomitable Lions. The Indomitable Lions, they don't create chances.
that's
When you play a game and then your opponent's goalkeeper is the man of the match, it means you created chances. So Nigeria is playing good, not playing good, but Nigeria, they were wasteful against Equatorial Guinea, and then they came against how they call it,
Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast, because the four previous games they've been playing attacking, and it didn't work for them. So they said, let's try something else. With all the talents we have, let's try to see if we can be defensive. And they played the
right.
defensive game. Ivory Coast had one shot on target inside the 18-meter box, which was even from a defender from a set piece. So they were comfortable defending. I still see Nigeria playing the same setup, maybe 3-5, 3-5-2. Sorry, 3-4-3 tomorrow, but with a more offensive mindset because they know
That's
they're
right.
going to Guinea Bissau to kill. So, yeah,
So
Nigeria has what it takes. The bench is loaded. If you see players
yeah,
like Iheanacho, Onyedika, and the rest, they haven't even featured. Terry Mofin, they haven't featured at all. They have what it takes. So, like True Lion said, Nigeria to me is not a dark horse because they have what it takes. But Nigeria is
okay.
still a favorite. It's still a favorite.
I
In
mean,
spite of what happened against Equatorial Guinea, they're still a favorite. Yeah.
yeah. To those who care about stats, Nigeria has the highest XG, which is expected goals per game of the tournament so far. They have the largest amount of big chances created. They also have the largest amount of chances missed.
Mhm.
And and another stat that is interesting to me about Nigeria is they're like the second lowest in goals conceded, 0.5 goals per game. So
Yeah, I wanted to say something. A lot of people were thinking Nigeria's defense is not that bad. They had a keeper they were not really confident in.
yeah,
They've brought in the new guy.
this new keeper is
They,
pretty good,
they
right?
brought in a new guy, Nwabali, who they maybe who's proven maybe at least in the second game that maybe he could bring some confidence to the back line. So their defense, they don't consider much. It's just that they waste a lot of chances. That's why they
Yeah.
were playing ties with teams like Lesotho, Zimbabwe, Guinea-Bissau. It's not because they have a poor defense. All those teams scored them just one goal. It's not like they have a bad defense, right? It's just that they don't score a lot. So
All right.
yeah.
So we're set for match day 3 in the group stages, and I'm predicting that all the attackers are going to come out firing. There's going to be a lot of goals in this round because everybody will be looking to book their place or their ticket into the round of 16, and they're going to take it even more seriously. The time for cautious play is out the window, and so I feel like most of the coaches are going to come with plans or tactics that are designed to create them the best opportunity so they can get the points on the board after getting the goals, of course, to win the game. So, gentlemen, any parting words, any thoughts before we say bye to our audience?
No,
Yeah,
I just want to thank the audience for showing up, and that you keep showing up, keep sharing, keep liking, keep joining. We really like that. That's how we grow, and it's always been a pleasure having them here, coming up with good questions, coming up with good opinions, which we always want to share. That's how we also learn, by sharing our own opinions. So that's all I have to say, and also that we look forward to tomorrow, where we're gonna probably have our predictions or lineup predictions and all that.
Yeah. True Lion?
yeah. I think Grinders Matchfire asked a question. They were asking if Clinton J had
Oh, yeah,
resigned
let's
from
touch
the
on that.
national team and was asking if that was a true story. No, that's not the true story. It's just
Verified.
one of
Yeah.
those social media.
Yeah, just someone
Yeah,
looking for likes and views and all. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't highlight that for a reason because it's
Mhm.
not verified
yeah.
information.
So
So
that's me. I'm good.
all right. So thank you guys so much for joining. Please continue sharing and do check us out on the various social media platforms. Engage us in conversations. We are looking to be around for a while. The football trio is going to always dissect the action on the field and even beyond that, right? So thank you guys so much. Really, really appreciate it. And we are still working on how we cut this down to 30 minutes max. It's gonna come through. It's gonna come through. But there's just so much to do when or talk about when you're talking about Cameroon, right? So thank you guys for joining. It's such a pleasure. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we are out. Bye for
Thank
now.
you. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye
All
bye.
right, guys. Let's play us out. Let's do this.